Anybody that lives in North Idaho knows exactly what this is. This is a meat bee trap, and we put these out in the spring to capture the queen hornets and yellow jackets as they come out of hibernation. The way we attract them is there's a cotton ball in the middle of this trap with a liquid called pheromones. Pheromones are a liquid attractant that attract bees. I guess bees use it to call each other in. Pheromones in a real estate market are nice, attractive homes. When nice, attractive homes hit the market, it's an attractant for buyers. What's an example of a good pheromone or a good home here in North Idaho? Well, let's take a look at one. This is a stream. It's a year-round stream on one of our recent listings here in Rathdrum, Idaho. I call this a true homestead property because it checks many of the boxes. Water on the property? Check. Home on acreage? Check. Close to recreation and town? Check. A guest house for the mother-in-law or income potential? Check. A large shop for the toys? Check. A barn for the animals? Check. A large garden shed for sustainable food production? Check. And a root cellar to store all that food you can produce? Check. If you want more about this property, you can check the description below. All right, so April here in the North Idaho housing market was buzzing. I have 5 stats to show you guys, and the last one is incredibly important for both sellers and buyers. Let's get into it. The first chart is April new listings, and you can see here that they went up quite a bit. In fact, they went up 26.8%. There were 890 new homes to come onto the market for the month of April. The second chart is homes for sale. You can see here there were 1,511 homes for sale in the month of April. That was up 16.9% over the previous year and almost double the listings that we saw in the peak of 2022. So let's pause there. You just saw 2 slides that show inventory or supply going up, both in the new homes hitting the market and inventory for sale. Third slide is April closed sales. There were 377 closed sales. That was up 19.7% over the same time last year. Now of note, last year, sales were down 28.6%. That was very significant. Sales slowed a lot last year. They're up this year. The fourth slide, April pending sales. These are the most recent homes put under contract. There were 487 new contracts in April. That's up 17.1% over the last year. Okay, so let's stop there. Remember, the first and second slides dealt with supply. Supply was up around 20%. The third and fourth slides dealt with demand. Demand was up around 20%. So what happens when both supply and demand go up 20%? I call that buzzing. That is the market 20% over last year, all that activity and the buzzing that goes along with it. The fifth slide shows what happens to prices. The April median sales price was $513,000. That was barely up over last year. So over the last 2 years, prices have remained consistent at that $515,000 median price point. Remember, this was down from our all-time high prices of April 2022. Prices have come down about 11.3%. What does that mean for sellers? Well, if you're a seller and you want to sell your home, the market has just told you that for 2 years now, 2 years, prices are 10% below the all-time high. And if you're going to sell your home, don't expect 2022 prices. Be happy with the great equity that you have in your home, sell your home, and move on. What does the median price here in North Idaho, being stable for the last 2 years, say to our buyers? Well, if you're a buyer who is hoping and praying for a crash, it's probably not going to happen. The market's kind of telling you that's where we're going to be. What can impact prices? It would be interest rates and another factor that I'm going to tell you in a minute. Let's start with interest rates. When interest rates go up 1%, the purchasing power of the buyer goes down 10%. And it works the other way. Interest rates go down 1%, purchase power of the buyer goes up 10%. There's a likelihood that the Fed between now and the election is going to kind of take a low head down approach and not influence the election one way or the other with policy. But because unemployment is going up, there is speculation that the Fed in September will lower interest rates maybe by 0.25% and maybe again by the end of the year. And there's a possibility, a likelihood more than not, that interest rates are going to come down at least 0.25%. It's not a drastic change, but it could push more people back into the market, increase purchasing power a little bit. Therefore, I expect, because of interest rates, prices to be where they're at or go up just a little bit. But there's a second factor that I think can have a great impact on the price of our real estate here, and it's social unrest. Not social unrest here, but social unrest in the big cities. What's going on right now as we talk here in May in the big cities? You have social unrest, passive-aggressive resistance on college campuses. People are shutting down bridges, they're shutting down roadways. All of this is while President Biden is in office, the one they're favorable to. The press right now is keeping a lid on all the negative information to try to get their presidential candidate over the finish line here in the election. That lid is all the suppressed information about how high inflation is, how high unemployment is, how high interest rates are at. They do not project like they're going to project when Trump wins. Trump takes office in 2025, the media is going to take the lid off of all that negative information, and it'll be Trump's fault for high unemployment, Trump's fault for high inflation, Trump's fault for higher interest rates. He'll get the blame for all that, and that will incite the liberals that are already demonstrating their social unrest even more. And when that happens, what happens to real estate in conservative states where there's fewer people, better governance? Those places grow. And we saw proof of it in 2020 when in the summer of 2020 the big cities were burning, people were fleeing and couldn't flee fast enough to places like here, and we boomed from 20 to 2022 because of social unrest in the big cities. So there you have it. We looked at the month of April and saw that activity is up around 20%. There's a lot of buzz going on. Both sellers and buyers are moving now. And then we talked about where we think prices might go, or at least where I think prices are going to go and why. Hopefully that helps you guys. If you're interested in this type of content, be sure to subscribe so we can keep this stuff coming to you. We'll be looking at the market going into the hot summer here and keep you up to speed. If you're interested in talking with me about moving to North Idaho, there's a contact link in the description below. That's how you get a hold of us. I'd love to talk with you and answer any of the questions that you have. That's it for now. Bye. Thanks for watching the video. If we haven't met yet, I'm Kory Martinelli. My wife Bonnie and I own a local real estate team based in Coeur, Alene, Idaho. Our personal journey to live better began in 2009 when we relocated our young family to North Idaho from Ventura County, California. We wanted to raise our family in a place rich with outdoor recreation and in a culture that treasured our strong conservative values. Leaving family, friends, and church was not easy. Perhaps the scariest decision was to leave behind 21 years as a deputy sheriff with Ventura County and finish my career with a new agency. But I did it and finished serving out my 3 decades in law enforcement as a deputy with the Kootenai County Sheriff's Department right here in North Idaho. While I was doing the easy part, working in law enforcement, Bonnie diligently raised our 2 children, battled breast cancer into remission, and started her real estate career part-time. Talk about a winner. After retiring from law enforcement in 2016, I joined Bonnie in real estate and we went full-time forming the Martinelli Realty team and this video channel. Since then, we have successfully navigated one of the most aggressive and competitive real estate markets in America to help over 300 families relocate to North Idaho. In that time, Bonnie has been recognized as one of the top 1% producing real estate professionals in the entire country. It is this experience that we have gained in the market that forms the foundation of our videos. If you are wondering if you can live better in North Idaho, we dedicate this channel to you.